All right, welcome back to the Week 3 Massachusetts Legacy Leagues podcast. I'm joined by Trent, Will, Elliot, Burke, and we're just going to dive right into these games. Got a lot of exciting games, a lot of exciting players, and yeah, let's get right into it. So our first game, we had RI Wave versus Reapers, two of the top teams in the league. It did not come as close as we expected it to be. We had the Reapers winning 104, and the RI Wave got 83. It was kind of a big, unexpected game, I would say. We got some big players coming back for RI Wave. We got Devon Pina in his first game this season. He was an MVP contender in Rhode Island a couple of years ago, so that was a big name showing up. But Kevin Views, Josh Monte Castro, and the rest of his crew pulled ahead, won this game by definitive 20 points. And yeah, we'll start with Elliot. What do you guys say about the Reapers in this one?
The Reapers were a very, very productive team tonight. They scored the most points, I believe. Yeah, they by one actually. RA Wave had 103 earlier this season, and the Reapers scored 104. How good was Kevin Views, man? He continues to amaze. And I was a little disappointed with the way that RI Wave came out, especially defensively. I expected more.
Yeah, it was kind of a mess for them. They were not having the best night. Kevin Views, though, was having one of the best nights out of any player, scoring 39, not missing many shots. Josh Monty doing everything, 22 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Their communication on the Reapers is so good, man. They just yell all game, and yeah, our wave just couldn't keep up. That being said, Cody Crawford did as much as he could. He had 27 points, 12 rebounds. Jared Hansen followed up with 24 points. And then, yeah, not much else was clicking for them. But they were missing Shaq Audrey, who's averaging 20 this season, and Anthony Lyons, who's always a good defender for them. So, yeah, Will, were you expecting this? What kind of was unexpected with this one?
I thought it was unexpected how the Reapers really pushed the pace of that entire game. I mean, you could tell RI Wave really missed Anthony Lyons on the defensive end because Kevin Hughes was kind of just getting his way from three and in the paint. And honestly, like, it was just a game of attrition. And the Reapers were just up for it more that night, and they were hitting threes. And of course, obviously for RI Wave, getting Jared Hansen back was huge. He produced a few 3-pointers. Same with Cody Crawford, always producing on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. But I think the difference was the physicality, without question, that the Reapers brought. And Kevin Views said it in his interview with Elliot earlier in the year that their defense is the difference from them compared to everyone else in the league.
Oh yeah, they're pests. They love stealing the ball. Um, yeah, we went over that, but we got to talk about our boy Joey. He did not meet our request, Elliot and Burke's request last week of 3 threes, but I do want to give him credit. He scored 3 threes in the Rhode Island League. So not the league we wanted, but round of applause for Joey. He got his 3 threes in the other league. And yeah, we'll move on to our second game. It was one of the biggest games coming into this week. We were all hyped for it. It was A1 versus FTG. And A1 pulled ahead of this one over FTG, 87-78, our closest game of the week. And yeah, pretty much the same old for A1. It's becoming routine. Dante Rivera, 32 points, shooting 14 for 17, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. And Darwin Perea following up, 27 points. And then we had a Legacy Leagues debut from Angel Sereno. I hope I'm saying that right. He had 18 points, shooting 100%. Yeah, so big game from everyone. Even some players like Manny Sanchez kind of taking a step back, only scoring 5 points, but they didn't really need him. Defensively, he's always there. We know that. Uh, all right, Elliot, anything you want to say about A1?
Yeah, there's a lot to say about A1. They look like the cream of the crop right now in terms of teams that should be in contention for this league. Um, I mean, they can burn you in so many ways, whether it's a 3-point shot. I don't think I've seen a team throw as many alley-oops as A1. And yeah, this was a low scoring game, but man, when their offense gets going, they're a tough team to stay with. And I was really impressed by just kind of how they're playing as a team. It's never one person.
And we can't move on without talking to about FTG. They just got a big player, Daquan Durham, who was a Finals MVP last season. He was all legacy second team, and he was a champion. So yeah, that's a huge addition. He scored 15 points in his first game with FTG, and we got Ethan leading the way with 39 points, 11 rebounds, and only 2 assists. That might be where the problem was. Maybe they weren't passing the ball enough. Maybe taking too many shots here and there. But Ethan tried his best. 39 points. We didn't really see too many points from anyone else. Um, Will, you want to kind of address FTG, maybe what they could have done better, where it went wrong?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. I mean, Ethan Austin had 39 points, obviously, but he wasn't getting help. I mean, the next closest scorer was Daquan Durham with 15, and then everyone else didn't touch double digits. But this team's got a lot of promise. I think they just had a down game. I mean, uh, A1 really just game planned around Ethan Austin, double teaming him with Rivera and Pereira, who are two amazing two-way guards on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But either way, I mean, they just weren't shooting well. It wasn't their night, but I think this is definitely a team to watch out for down the line. But right now, A1 is going to get all the credit in the world, and they deserve it. They're undefeated. They've beaten everyone that is seen as a challenge to them. But I think overall, these two teams are the teams to watch out for going forward.
Definitely two contenders right there. Want a quick shout out? It was Dante Rivera's birthday. We found that out in the post game interview. So happy birthday to him. He got his birthday win. That he said that's all he wanted. So I'm happy he got that. But I'm gonna give Trent and Burke a chance to talk since they haven't talked yet. They weren't on these two games. But uh, Trent, do you want to talk about FTG and kind of like who needs to be their number two option? We can talk about Sebastian Delone last season averaging 26. This season, I think he's only averaging 7, 8, and kind of the step down that he took this season and maybe what he's got to do to turn around.
Yeah, all great teams always need a second option, third option. That's how you win games, and that's how you win championships with depth, especially when it's an 8-man roster. With Ethan putting up 39, players are gonna have to step up. I think obviously Daquan, the addition of that, you already brought up, runner up for MVP. I think he's gonna have to step up dramatically, but also with Ethan may have to take a little bit less shots to get his team involved. More ball movement, and because the defense is always going to focus on that one person, and when you focus on one person, and you get him out the game can end real quick. So just other players stepping up. I think Cole Sullivan. I think FTG could definitely compete with A1. It was pretty much close throughout. The problem was A1 just was a better 3-point shooting team, and they closed it out in that fourth quarter. They won 18-23. So I definitely think the addition of Daquan is going to improve this roster dramatically.
Definitely. They need some of those other guys to step up. Cole is a baller. He was an all-star last year. I know he can hoop. And I mean, Daquan, he showed out this game. He's going to continue. He's going to get his chemistry going with those guys. So I think they're going to turn it around. It's going to be hard to beat those guys. That being said, it's going to be even harder to beat A1. Burke, do you want to kind of talk about who do you think can beat A1? And even if it's a close game, what do you think that team's got to do to beat them?
Yeah, I mean, like Elliot said, A1's they're cream of the crop, man. They're definitely the team to beat right now. But I think the Reapers, if they're on with their shooting, they could definitely, they could I wouldn't say shock, but they could surprise A1. I think FTG, like you said, Daquan Durham, it was his debut, but a Finals MVP is no joke of a player. Maybe it was just a little bit of a first game rust, or when you haven't played in a while, it's hard to come back right away and dominate. But FTG's got too much talent. I could see them coming later in the season and beat A1 for sure.
Definitely, those guys are going to just grow with each other, and it's going to be a tough, tough game whenever they play each other. I'm not going to even know who to pick. That being said, let's move on to our third game. It was our second closest game between Run It Up and my very own Party Crashers. And so this was on the other side of the course, so we got Trent and Burke watching this one. It was a 75 point Run It Up and 59 from Party Crashers. And for Run It Up, Sean Yard, we're going to be saying his name a lot this season, 37 points. Casey Key, 25 points, 15 rebounds. They combined for over 60 of their team's 75 points. I mean, that alone is crazy. Trent, you want to talk about Run It Up real quick?
Definitely. I got to watch Run It Up play a lot more recently. Their first two games. And I think they're going to be fine, but my concern with them is they rely on Sean Yard a little bit too much. The game that they lost, Yard came late and he didn't play his best basketball, even though he still had 20 plus points. When you rely on one scorer, one player, it's not going to get you far as possible. So, I asked them in the post game interviews of some adjustments that they want to work on and as a team get better. Defensively, they said they want to get better, play more as a team, and more players getting involved. I think Sean Yard's excellent player, but he's definitely going to need more help than what recently just happened. And no offense to Party Crashers, because I know that's your team, Cade. They're not the greatest team, so you can get away with this type of victory. You can get away with two players scoring majority of their points. But when you go against A1, FTG, and all these other teams, you're definitely going to need your team. All your players stepping up. It's not always about points. It could be defensive stops, offensive rebounds. The little things help you win games.
Yes, yes. No, no offense taken. I know me and my guys need a lot of work. That being said, we should talk about my team. I mean, this is our closest game yet. We're losing 40-point games the first 2 weeks. Uh, Burke, we can quickly get to you. First, I want to shout out my guy Kyle Trockman. Got 9 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. All the three of those blocks were really nice if you were watching that game. We had like 6 guys with 7 or more. So we kind of spreading the wealth there, and kind of versus like Run It Ups. I think they only had 2 guys over 5 points. So that was kind of a little difference there to keep an eye at. But Burke, what did you kind of see differently with the Party Crashers? Why was this a closer game than the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think Party Crashers are they're kind of finding their groove a bit. They got guys that can make shots. They're missing 3-point specialist Cade Ryan, but he's there to help coach. But it was a close first quarter. They stayed in the game a bit. Just Run It Up, just Sean Yard just came to play. But I think Party Crashers are really just lacking the true ball handler, point guard guy who controls the pace of the game right now, and maybe that guy will emerge. I don't know who it will be. Maybe it'll be Aaron Molo or Tim Combe, but someone needs to really just step up and take more of the shots. Like it's the wealth is spread out, but sometimes you need a guy to take a lot of shots to get into a rhythm, volume, more points, keep the team in the game.
Definitely. We lost actually our ball handler from the summer. He averaged 30. I think he was like third or fourth in MVP talk, Kevin Flynn. He moved to Canada, so yeah, there was no getting him back for this season. But I think we'd be a much, much different team with him. I think we'd be in contention for a top seeded team. And with that kind of wrapping up, let's go on to our final game, B2A versus BVO. All right, B2A took this one 90-56. We had Maurice, Ashley, Mo. He wanted me to call him in the post-game interview, Mo. So 20 points from him, 11 rebounds. Yeah, kind of the wealth was spread out a lot on B2A. Everyone was scoring. Shout out to Anthony Cabrera with 9 steals. Crazy stat early on in the season. And I think that's where this game kind of went wrong for BVO was the turnovers. I mean, that just kind of killed them. You had Markel Wade dropping 16 points, but other than that, they had a team of total of 21 turnovers. And they were not happy. You could hear them from the sideline. They were not happy with this game. Um, we'll start with Burke on this one. B2A. I mean, that first week looked a little rough, but these last 2 weeks they've kind of shown out even though they're 1-2, I don't think they're a 1-2 team. What do you want? What do you have to say about them?
Yeah, I think B2A is kind of they heard a little bit of the noise after week one. They're a really good two-way team. They do a lot of things well. Efficient, play press defense. They want to keep the other team beyond half court. Um, like you said, Anthony Cabrera 9 steals. I was watching the game. I knew he had a good amount. I didn't think it was 9 though, so that's pretty good. But I think they're underrated. I think if you look at tiers in the league, you definitely have to put them in the first tier. Maybe they're not the best team in the league, but they're definitely up there with the top teams in the league.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, this was our biggest differential between scoring. BVO, they I hear them talking on the bench. I mean, they're working to figure this out. They communicate after the games. They stay behind and talk to each other. So I'm happy to see them, trying to figure this out. They really want this to find a win. Uh, Trent, do you got any like words of advice for them? Like, how do they find this first win?
I tell you this: whenever you get your first victory in anything you do, it can be basketball, it could be a video game. You start to get a little bit more momentum. Sorry, and when you gain momentum can definitely help you out in a league like this because you start to string out some wins. You could tell that they actually care about winning a lot because you say they stay after the games. They actually watch other teams play. They're talking to each other. They have other players that are stepping up. It's not just like one scorer or anything like that. You got Markel Wade putting up 16 points, very efficient, shooting 66% from the field. Jew, I'm at 13, and obviously, and also Casey. The problem was when you get outscored in the first half, 51-21. It's going to be hard to come back from, and allowing one player to get 9 steals on you really gotta hold the ball. And fun fact, there are 3 games. They had 21 turnovers, 13 turnovers, and 19 turnovers. They're averaging 18 turnovers a game, when only averaging 8 assists a game. So that's not a winning way at all, no matter what type of basketball it is. So less turning the ball over, more playing as a team. And I feel like if they do that, they can definitely knock down a win. And can I just say one more thing about BTA, if that's not a problem? Yeah, so BTA, this is their first W, really big W because they got a big game next week against Rhode Island RA Wave. So they're gaining momentum from this, and definitely looking forward to continue to watch them play this year.
Definitely excited to see them continue and to grow. They were having fun out there too, so that's always a great thing. And yeah, that will kind of wrap up our games. We're gonna get moving into some other more fun topics. We'll get everyone involved, and we'll kind of start off since this is the holidays. We got New Year's coming up. I wanted to kind of ask everyone if each team had to get one gift for the holidays, what do you think that team would want? I'm not talking about a championship or MVP for this player or that player. I'm saying what they get like for the upcoming weeks for week 4. What would that be? So like I'll start with the party crashers. I want to wake up, come downstairs and have a point guard lying under my tree that I can come bring with me each week. That's gonna hoop and pass us the ball. Does anybody want to volunteer for a team? Or do you guys want me to pick you a team to go for, or Trent, you can just go for it right now.
I'll start with BVO. I feel like their Christmas present is just to win a game. Like you just win a game. You need to get a W, and you start feeling better. And if that's adding a piece, if that's players stepping up, either or, just win a game.
That would be a sweet gift. We'll start. We'll go Elliot. You can pick a team and just tell us what they want for the holidays.
I think I'm gonna go with this is a tough one. I think I'm gonna go with Run It Up, and I think I'm gonna go with a efficiency. I think that's what they need for the holidays. They need efficiency, um, to get some more convincing wins along the way.
Definitely, those other guys definitely need to be hitting their shots. Sean Yard can't, I mean, he definitely can average 40 for the rest of the season, but I don't know if he wants to do that. We'll hit Will with the next one. What do you got for us, Will?
I think my Christmas present would be to FTG to get them a second wing. Obviously, getting Durham is helpful, but I think having a second wing and using Ethan Austin as a facilitator would definitely help that team be at the top of the mountain. I mean, they're already there, but they just got one more step basically with that one present.
They definitely got those wings. They just need them to step up. They really do. I know they got it in him. Sebastian Delone is a hooper, and I definitely see him scoring 20 next week. That's going to be my prediction for next week. He's dropping 20. Um, Burke, final present for us.
Yeah, I mean, Elliot kind of stole my team with the run it up, but I think their Christmas gift would be someone to emerge as a third option. Their scoring's very concentrated with Sean Yard and Casey Key. Sean Yard's scoring leader, 35 a game, that's great. Casey Key, second option, 18, that's great. But you have no one else averaging above 5 points. You need someone else. And when Sean Yard's on the bench or Casey Key's on the bench, someone that you can go to get you some buckets.
Elliot, go.
One more. I think this gift could go for the entire league. I think this is a gift for the officials, okay? Less foul complaining. Just play the game. I watch, take Ethan Austin, for example. I watch him make some crazy plays, get absolutely slammed, and he just doesn't talk. Maybe here or there he'll say something, but for the whole league, Christmas present to the officials, just play your game, and they're trying their best. I can tell you that.
That would I'm sure they would love that gift, but I've definitely complained here and there. I can't be speaking on that. We'll go into our final little topic. I think this is the one we've been waiting for. This might, stir the pot, get some talking going in the league. But I want to go into MVP talk, early MVP talk. Last week we had championship talk. I also want to talk about that. Elliot, Burke, you both jinxed your teams completely. You picked RI Wave, they lost. You picked FTG, they lost. What is up with that? But anyway, we'll move past that. Hopefully we don't jinx anyway now. Uh, I think there's about I'd say 5 guys we could go for, so we could all pick a guy to talk about right now. But let's all pick an early MVP candidate. Um, and if somebody takes yours, just quickly think of a number 2 option. You can let us know if someone took yours or not. But uh, Will, you want to go first?
I think this might be seen as a hot take considering how great of an all-around team that A1 is, but I think I'd give it to Dante Rivera. I mean, his production from three-point range has been top of the league. I mean, he got 32 points last game, but every single game I've seen him play and he's gotten at least five threes, and he's obviously catching body bags all over the court with his dunks. And he's just facilitating that offense, having Darwin Pereira right next to him to help him out. So, I mean, I think the talent around Dante Rivera definitely helps him, but I think right now I'd give him the front runner for me.
Definitely. I mean, that team, even without him, is still a nasty team, but we can kind of look past that and give praise to Dante. I mean, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals is what he's averaging. So, talks for defensive player of the year with the 4 steals there, and offensive player of the year averaging 30. Obviously, you got to be in MVP talk if you're in both of those talks. We'll go Burke. Who do you got if not Dante Rivera?
People value MVP at a lot of different stuff. They best player on the best team, scoring leader, but I'm gonna go Cody Crawford. The stats, the RI wave going to be in tension, top 3 seed. Cody Crawford is 5th in scoring points per game, 1st in rebounds per game, and 1st in assists per game. He is fueling and leading the RI wave. They dropped a game this week, but they're, like I said, they're still up there. You got to look at him as the MVP. He's doing everything.
I mean, he's bringing over the experience of 8 championships from Rhode Island. He is the most experienced player there when it comes to playoffs. And I mean, they're not the same team without him. So that's an example of an MVP right there. We can move. I'm gonna give the hardest option to Elliot, so we're gonna go Trent. Sorry, Elliot, you are going last. You go, Trent.
Yeah, I did have Dante as an MVP favorite, but how I view MVPs, maybe like the NBA, I look at Jokic. If you take Jokic off the Denver Nuggets, they're probably one of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion. If you take Sean Yard off the run it up, they're probably one of the worst teams in the league with the Party Crashers. His scoring ability alone, averaging 35 points a game, is just absolutely amazing. And I probably do have some bias towards it because he used to coach me when I used to play basketball. So hopefully, Sean Yard can continue and his team continue to rack up W's because victories at the end of the day matter. It's not always about the points. So if he continue to keep leading his team with wins, I definitely think he has a good favor of winning MVP.
I knew you were gonna say him. I knew you were gonna say him. But that is, I would say, a very valid option. I think he's like number two right now. You don't win the game if you have less points, and he is the one scoring all the points. So there we go with that. Uh, you know, there's one player we are missing that I think will be very upset if he watches this, and I feel like Elliot might say his name right now. So Elliot, you want to go?
I don't know. I think you should go first, Cade. Did you give your guy yet?
I haven't given my guy yet. I'll go with him
Go
though.
ahead.
I'll
Go
go with
ahead.
him. It's hard to bet against the reigning MVP, Kevin Views. I mean, he won it last season. His team has been killing it the last 2 weeks. I think they can make it. I think they can go the rest of the season without losing a game. That's what their goal is. Kevin Views leading that team with 33 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. If he's not on that team, uh, Josh Monty's their second option, but yeah, I don't think that team's winning as many games as they are without Kevin Views. And yeah, I think he's just the difference maker. He won it last year. I think he can win it again if he pulls through with the rest of the season without losing a game. So yeah, and now there's definitely one more player we can talk about. So I know you're going to talk about him.
I brought up his name earlier in this podcast, Ethan Austin. I love the way that he thinks about the game. It's not an individual game. He's always encouraging his teammates to get involved. He's telling the bench players, like, keep shooting, man. I love the attitude. He doesn't care about the stats. He cares about winning basketball games. And I think that's something that gets overlooked when it comes to a leader and an MVP candidate. And really, when you look at Kevin View's stats, who I was thinking absolutely before you said him, 33 points per game. Uh, Ethan Austin, 32 points per game, but he's shooting better from three, 50% compared to 45% on just over 5 attempts a game. If he keeps getting guys involved and his scoring stays where it is, and FTG can get like second, maybe the first seed if they really get hot, he would be my MVP for sure.
Definitely, he was in him and Kevin Views were actually the two leading voters or voted players for MVP last season. I honestly, as a player, I didn't know who was going to win it, and I was kind of surprised when they finally announced it. But he could definitely bring MVP, and I'm sure we could say this for all the guys. They don't care about MVP; they just want that championship. So they might not care about what we say, but uh, I think it's fun anyway. Nobody said Joey. What the heck, guys? What are we doing? No one said me. No
J-
one said
J-
me either. Crazy.
Joey needs to hit some
Coach of the
shots.
year,
Coach of
Coach
the
of the
year.
year,
Yeah, I
Cade
like that.
Ryan.
Joey does need to make his shots, and I need to play a game. I need to get healthy. I'll be back next week, so keep an eye out for me. Player of the week coming up. Uh, we got a little bit of break, 2 week break. We'll be back next year. I can say that because our next games are on January 6th, 2025. We got FTG versus the Party Crashers. It's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be RY Wave versus B2A. That will probably be the best game of the week, I think. I'm looking forward to that one. Reapers versus Run It Up, and then A1 versus BVO. And yeah, I think that about wraps it up for this week. I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and any holidays that I missed. And I will be looking forward to the upcoming weeks of the Legacy Leagues Massachusetts. Thank you all for watching. Shout out Burke, shout out Elliot, shout out Trent, shout out Will, shout out everyone for watching. Thank you.